Girls Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. Welcome to my channel. My name is Samuel and I want to make self-growth normal. If you want to make self-growth normal, because I don't want to do it alone, and who doesn't want to make self-growth normal, then make sure to smash that like button. Rachel Hollis, lifestyle blogger, internet celebrity, probably most well known for the book Girl Wash Your Face. I got this book and that one and thought, well, they are each in the title what seems to be a very, very, very long letter directed toward anybody of the female gender. And I thought, you know, this is 2020. I don't care if I'm a guy. These are very popular books, and maybe a girl wants to know what a guy thinks of a book like this. I mean, I don't ever see guys posting about it on YouTube or Instagram, and I have nothing bashful to say, so it's like, why not? It's not like I know what it's like to be a girl firsthand anyway. So maybe I'll get some insight on that and maybe understand a little bit of the emotional struggles that a lot of women and girls and ladies, whatever people call them alike, seem to face nowadays. It's not like only males watch my videos, and a lot of people said Girl Wash Your Face is the most relatable stuff ever. Oh my gosh, it's like she's talking to you face to face. And what I'm really wondering is, what is the difference between these books? One seems to be more of like a pick yourself up and keep going, and another seems like, you know, stop feeling sorry for yourself because no one's really gonna benefit from that. So I'm gonna drop a little summary of this book with a little bit of observations, commentary. Then I'm gonna say some of the main differences I noticed between this book and Book Wash Your Face and Book Stop Apologizing. I'm gonna say some of the differences between those books. Then I'm gonna read some standout quotes from this book, and then I'm gonna say who I recommend the book to, as well as what books to maybe check out next. This book begins with what seems like a sweeping generalization that most of us are kind of just raised in like an environment of shame and apathy, and those who aren't, it really kind of shows in the way that they carry themselves and interact with others. She says, if we're given the short straw, we think there's no way out, others expect more of me and I can't meet those expectations. What if we don't believe in ourselves? What if we're insecure? What if we have self-esteem issues? Those three are very similar to each other, and I imagine they probably go hand in hand. She says in her experience, and I don't know, I think it's like this forum that she sort of moderates, and it's like moms and entrepreneurs and trainers and counselors and just women in all walks of life. Let's not be exclusive with this, also bodybuilders and construction workers and rappers and I don't know, who knows, morticians. I heard that's a very male, or it was a male dominated industry for a very long time. But I think a lot of this book really, and the Girl Wash Your Face, comes through a sort of filtered lens of the experiences and sort of reflections of the women and some men in her community. So the author talks about, in this case, what she can advise regarding three things: excuses to let go of, behaviors to kind of adopt, and skills to acquire. So let's talk about some of those excuses, behaviors, and skills, the ones that stood out. Not all of them, there are like 25 in total. Actually, you know what? Let's go over all of them. I mean, I went over all 33 of the 33 strategies of war in my Robert Greene review. I'm not gonna summarize them, but we will go through all of them. Number one, excuses. That's not what other women do. Next, I'm not a goal-oriented person. Next, I don't have enough time. And you can see how these kind of sound like excuses, right? I'm not enough to succeed. Rachel has this tendency to present what seems like trite advice in a way that's not just personal, like, I know this sounds crazy, but that's okay. I know what it's like. It's also unique. You don't hear things like, I'm not enough yet. I'm not smart enough yet. Rich enough yet. Not yet. But I am enough to become enough. I think I've heard stuff like this before in other self-help books, but if I haven't really heard it kind of stretched out and folded like taffy, at least in the way Rachel does it, not like in her books. Next, I can't pursue my dream and still be a good mom slash daughter slash employee. In this one thing that stood out is this rant that she has about the ridiculous concept of work-life balance. She likes to rant about things that just don't really seem to benefit anyone. Next, I'm terrible at failure, and it pains me to say these out loud. Next, it's been done before. And here's another example of that packaging advice thing that we were talking about before. It's been done before. Everything's been done before. If other people have done it, that just means you're on to figuring out maybe something they didn't. Next, what will they think? There's always something surprising, something unexpected that you might find in these books of hers. I mean, like right when you think you know exactly what she's gonna say next, even if you're right, you will not expect the reasoning behind it. It's great that books like this, even if the advice has been told to others, by others, it's just not put in the same perspective as anyone's. Next, good girls don't hustle. Every time I just think of somebody saying this to me, especially if I were a girl, I just imagine myself thinking, come on, get the out of here. Really? I mean, this one, for example. What is the definition of a good girl? A lot of this stuff, really, with these excuses and the beliefs, the lies or whatever from Girl Wash Her Face, they really have to do with like just how you see things. Like, what is good? Is bad actually bad? I mean, Beyonce, Oprah, Ellen. I use their first names and people immediately know who I'm talking about. Sheryl Sandberg, the Facebook COO, Angela Merkel, the president, prime minister, something of Germany. Let's look further back. Mother Teresa, I think Cleopatra was pretty gangster. Queen Elizabeth, I forget which one, maybe all of them. Number 2, behaviors. Stop asking for permission. This is easily the most illuminating section of the book, hence the word girl in the title. I don't think she talks about feminism in a way that really asks for that much criticism or anger of yours, unless you're like so biased against or toward it that like it almost depresses you. Next, choose one dream and go all in. Next, embrace your ambition. I love the tangents that she goes on. Tangents, for lack of a better word, especially the ones about, you know, like, why are you listening to what other people have to say when those people are dragging you down? Next, ask for help. How many of us, let alone girls, need to hear this one? Next, build foundations for success. One word, habits. I used to be so addicted, so obsessed with my habits, but a lot of things happened to me, or I guess for me. We go through things like this where we're on top of our game and then, you know, just everything, just like this avalanche throws you off and you're like, can I ever get back on that? I got my new job, the new schedule, the girlfriend just moved in, we're sleeping upstairs now. But this section is a slap in the face. Kinda hurt that I needed to hear. Next, stop allowing them to talk you out of it. This to me, not the section or the chapter, but the idea of stop letting other people boss you around. It's like the crux, it's like the DNA of this book. Next, learn to say no. Number 3, skills, planning. A lot of this one, in fact a surprising amount, was about way more not to do than what to do. I think a lot of books talk enough about what to do as far as planning. I feel like Rachel Hollis, based on this one, probably tried a bunch of them and was like, I really just don't really know if this really kind of really works, you know? Like really. Next, confidence. A lot of this one, and there are some other moments in this book, like with this one with the physical appearance and the whole thing with the boob job. Yes, there was a boob job. Like mentioning things like boob jobs in books like this. If I were watching this and I were a girl, I'd probably think for just a split second, why should I listen to a book that was written by a girl who got a boob job? Talking about confidence. What does she know about confidence? Why should she get a boob job? Again, like the reasoning would definitely surprise you. Anything you hear Rachel Hollis say that sounds surprising, just hear her out and it will really not be that surprising. Next, persistence. Next, effectiveness. When she said stop making to-do lists and start making results lists, my jaw dropped. After I thought about this a little, I was making lists for results. Like that has helped me so much, but so has making to-do lists. So for me, I mean, making both lists has helped. But it's like, what is a journey and what is a destination if they are not on the same map? Next is positivity, and next is, I like this clever wordplay here, lead her ship. Pretty obvious what it's about, you know, like taking the ship and like leading it toward her, I think. I'm kidding. This book is described overall as a shame-free plan for embracing and achieving your goals. My girlfriend is a huge Demi Lovato fan. Any fellow Demi Lovato fans of hers? The song Sorry Not Sorry is allegedly the impetus of the whole book. Is this book, in my opinion, what it describes itself as? Yes, I do think that's a pretty on-point description. How is it different from Girl Wash Your Face? I think this book is a lot more practical than Girl Wash Your Face. I think Girl Wash Your Face is a lot more mindset stuff. There's a lot of practical advice and a lot of mindset advice in both books, but I think they were probably both written like that on purpose, where they are just, it's just the opposite ratio, sort of. They are also very differently structured. This one has like these 3 sort of pillars, if you will, of improvement. Girl Wash Your Face is smashing that like button in case you haven't already for the YouTube algorithm. That book is a straight line of like 20 different lies that many of us or girls have been told, and just kind of everything you need to know about them. But as far as mindset here, I mean, like, cake is not the healthiest thing that I could include in this analogy, but Girl Wash Your Face takes a cake and gives it to you and is like, hey, you probably didn't know you had this cake, but you do, and it's yours, and stop apologizing is like, well, you have your cake, Here's how to eat it. This really is a ridiculous scenario and probably unnecessary to imagine. Unless for just a minute with me, you can pretend that 95% of people in the world don't really know how to eat cake. Quotes. You don't know me, you only know your perception of me. Most of the things you learned in childhood are still affecting you today. You are beautiful and worthy of good things, and if you don't believe that, nobody will. Confidence, this is regarding someone's appearance, comes from you liking the way you look, not from looking a certain way. Direction 1. I recommend this book to just about, I guess, any girl or woman who is particularly having just trouble in a lot of areas of her life. Self-confidence, if you don't really feel like you're enough, if you feel like you're not really in enough control of your life and your thoughts, if you feel like other people have been telling you what to do for years and bossing you around and you can't stand it anymore, this is an excellent book to check out. Believe me, ask any girl who has read it and enjoyed it. If you're a guy, I mean, I don't mean to make a sweeping generalization here, if this even is one, you'll still probably get something out of it. I mean, like I said, that whole section about habits was like a slap in the face for me. This book is incredibly popular, and it's incredibly popular for a reason other than this girl's following. Direction 2. If you like this book, I would recommend Girl Wash Your Face, but if you haven't checked out either, I'd probably recommend checking that one out first, unless you would at least kind of consider yourself intermediate in terms of, you know, positive self-talk. If you don't believe in yourself, check that book out. If you kind of believe in yourself, but you know, you at least believe in yourself enough to ask, what do I do next? Where do I go from here? This one's great. What to check out other than that? You Are a Badass and You Are a Badass at Making Money, both by Jen Sincero. Those are dope too. One of them is about self-beliefs and self-care, and the other one is about money beliefs. I hope it's pretty obvious which one's which. Those and Subtle Art of Not Giving and Everything Is, both by Mark Manson. I don't usually throw out this many recommendations, but this time I just felt like it, okay? Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. See, I didn't apologize for throwing out too many recommendations. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video if you want to check those out too. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below, and also let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it, and also hit me up on Instagram. But hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my reviews. My reviews are usually like 11 to 13 minutes long, and they don't subscribe, but if you have subscribed and you want to check it out, What? I've said this so many times. You would think I'd have it down now by now to the point where I would never make a mistake in it, but if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.